The myth that ruined an empire, the search for the lost 7 cities of gold. Imagine a rumor so intoxicating, so powerful, that it drives thousands of men across thousands of miles of deadly desert. A rumor of 7 cities glittering in the sun, built entirely of gold. This was the promise of Cibola. But what happens when the greatest treasure hunt in history finds nothing but mud and stone? This is the story of the 7 cities of gold, the phantom treasure that cost Spain an empire. If you're ready to explore one of history's most devastating delusions, hit that like button right now, and subscribe to Adventure Hidden for more journeys into legendary lost riches. Intro. The year is 1540. The Spanish conquest of the Aztec and Inca empires has revealed unimaginable wealth, yet the explorers are already hungry for the next, greater prize. The rumor speaks of Cibola, a kingdom of 7 colossal cities, their streets paved with gold, their doors adorned with turquoise. This was a myth born in Europe, whispered across the Atlantic and finally placed on the map of the vast, unexplored American Southwest. Fueling the frenzy was the report of a single desperate survivor, Álvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca. He confirmed a land of large, prosperous cities to the north. Soon, a massive, privately funded expedition led by Francisco Vázquez de Coronado would embark on a 2-year, continent-spanning quest for this phantom gold. They would find mountains, canyons, and vast plains, but the glittering city of their dreams remained perpetually out of reach. What was the true source of the legend? Did they simply misunderstand a native tale, or was the gold deliberately hidden from them? The search for Cibola is the ultimate story of how ambition can blind an entire generation. The search for Cibola begins not in the New World, but deep in medieval Europe. If you're ready to trace the origin of this devastating delusion, make sure to subscribe to Adventure Hidden. We're starting by breaking down the myth's true source. Chapter 1, The European Origin, the Myth of Antillia. The legend of the 7 cities of gold wasn't new, it was ancient, traceable all the way back to 8th century Iberia. The legend of Antillia, according to Portuguese and Spanish legend, after the Muslim conquest of the Iberian Peninsula in 711 AD, 7 Catholic bishops fled the invasion. They sailed westward into the uncharted Atlantic, each founding a wealthy, powerful, and secret Christian city on the mythical island of Antillia. These cities were said to be blessed with everlasting prosperity and, crucially, immense gold. The New World Translation. When the Spanish began exploring the Americas, they didn't just look for new land, they looked for confirmation of old legends. Columbus himself carried maps showing Antillia. After the riches of Mexico and Peru were found, the explorers were certain that Antillia, or the 7 cities of the bishops, had simply been geographically misplaced. They must be further north, inland, waiting to be discovered and claimed for the Spanish crown. This centuries-old legend provided the perfect blueprint for the obsession that followed. Chapter 2, Cabeza de Vaca and the Seed of Delusion. The European myth needed an American witness. That witness was Álvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, the sole survivor of the disastrous Narvaez expedition to Florida in 1528. The 8-year ordeal. After being shipwrecked, Cabeza de Vaca and 3 companions, including a Moorish slave named Estevanico, spent 8 years walking thousands of miles across Texas, Mexico, and the American Southwest, surviving by serving as faith healers and traders. The report. When they finally reached a Spanish outpost in 1536, they were heroes. They reported hearing tales from native peoples about large, prosperous cities to the north, where people wore cotton clothes and lived in multi-storied houses. They spoke of turquoise and possibly metals. Critically, Cabeza de Vaca never claimed to have seen gold, but the gold-obsessed Spanish viceroy Antonio de Mendoza heard only what he wanted: confirmation that the 7 cities of gold were real and within reach. Chapter 3, The Ill-Fated Reconnaissance, Estevanico and Fray Marcos. Before launching a full-scale invasion, Viceroy Mendoza sent a small, fast reconnaissance mission in 1539, led by a Franciscan friar, Fray Marcos de Niza, and the skilled traveler Estevanico, who was now a freed slave. Estevanico's advance. Estevanico was an exceptional traveler and communicator. He traveled ahead of Fray Marcos, sending back wooden crosses that were proportional to the wealth he found. When he reached the Zuni Pueblo of Huaca, the true location of Cibola, he sent back a massive cross, suggesting wealth far greater than Mexico City. The tragic end. However, Estevanico approached the Zuni Pueblo not as a respectful visitor, but as a powerful divine emissary, demanding women and tribute. The Zuni people, offended by his arrogance, killed him outside the city walls. Fray Marcos's lie. Fray Marcos, terrified, did not enter the village. Instead, he claimed he viewed Hahuaca from a distant hilltop. He reported seeing a city larger than the city of Mexico, that was built of gold and precious stones, glittering in the sun. This outrageous, self-serving lie, meant to secure funding for a new expedition, lit the fuse for the largest and most disastrous colonial quest in North American history. The combined lie of Fray Marcos and the misinterpretation of Cabeza de Vaca's testimony led to a frantic mobilization. We are about to track the epic, doomed journey of the Coronado expedition. If you're hooked on this story of colossal greed, hit that like button and subscribe to Adventure Hidden. Let us know in the comments. If you were Coronado, would you have trusted Fray Marcos's claim? Chapter 4. The disastrous scale of the Coronado expedition. In 1540, Francisco Vázquez de Coronado, a wealthy governor, launched the most ambitious and well-equipped expedition Spain had ever organized in the Americas. The expedition's scale: 340 Spanish soldiers, many elite noblemen, thousands of indigenous allies and servants, over 1,500 horses, mules and livestock, massive supplies of food, artillery and armor. The expedition marched north through Mexico, covering thousands of miles, their armor shimmering in the desert sun, a spectacle of colonial arrogance and ambition. The cost was staggering, financed primarily by Coronado himself. The arrival at the Real Cibola. After months of brutal travel, Coronado and his advance party arrived at the place Fray Marcos had pointed to, the legendary 7 cities of Cibola. The true location was the Zuni Pueblo of Hahuaca, in present-day New Mexico. The crushing reality: the city was not paved with gold, it was a cluster of high-walled apartment complexes built of adobe, mud bricks, and rough-cut stone. There was no glittering wealth, no jewels, only hardscrabble Zuni people defending their homes. The attack: Coronado immediately attacked. The battle was brief, resulting in a Spanish victory. Coronado was injured but alive. His journal entry chronicled his utter despair. The food, Fray Marcos, found here is not like the land he described, nor is the city as attractive, nor does it have the beauty or the advantages that he mentioned. Fray Marcos was quickly disgraced and sent back to Mexico in chains. Chapter 5. Quivira, the Second Phantom Gold. Coronado, bankrupted and humiliated, refused to admit defeat. When a captive, nicknamed the Turk, told him of a new, even richer kingdom called Quivira further east, Coronado embraced the new myth immediately. The tale of Quivira. The Turk claimed that in Quivira, the king slept under a tree from which small golden bells hung, and that large boats with golden prows sailed its rivers. This was a deliberate deception, likely a tactic by the native people to lead the devastating Spanish force away from their home settlements and into the vast, waterless plains. The journey east. Coronado reduced his force and marched east across the Great Plains, modern Texas and Kansas, following the Turks' misleading directions. They found the villages of the Wichita people, simple, grass-thatched huts built by semi-nomadic buffalo hunters. The final realization: Coronado executed the Turk for his deception. He had found no gold, no jewels and no wealthy kingdom. He turned back, the great expedition having discovered nothing of value but the vast geography of the continent. The pursuit of the Golden Phantom had failed utterly. Coronado returned to Mexico a broken, disgraced man who had failed to secure a single ounce of gold. Yet, his 2-year obsession with Cibola and Quivira profoundly impacted the American map and history. We are about to detail the bitter legacy of this colossal failure. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow history buffs. Chapter 6. The Legacy of Gold, Reshaping a Continent. Coronado's search for the 7 cities of gold ended in financial ruin and disgrace for him, but it had 2 massive, long-term consequences that forever changed North America. The colonization of New Mexico. Although Coronado found no gold, his detailed journals and maps provided the first comprehensive European account of the vast American Southwest. The reports described the Pueblo peoples, the geography of the Grand Canyon, which was cited by his men, and the great herds of buffalo. Decades later, these reports would justify the peaceful yet enduring colonization of New Mexico by Juan de Oñate, establishing Santa Fe. The horses. The most enduring physical legacy of the Cibola expedition was the horse. Thousands of horses that accompanied the army were lost, escaped, or traded to native tribes. These horses rapidly spread across the Great Plains, fundamentally revolutionizing the culture of the Comanche, Lakota, and Apache, creating the powerful horse-mounted plains cultures that would dominate the region for centuries. The 7 cities of gold never existed, but the pursuit of its myth mapped the continent, changed native life forever, and left an indelible mark of ambition and failure on colonial history. It is the story of a phantom treasure that cost Spain more than any gold it ever found. Otro. The story of Cibola is a cautionary tale about the blinding nature of greed. Conquistadors risked everything, marching thousands of miles through the deadly wilderness for a myth created by a medieval legend and perpetuated by the lie of a desperate friar. They found not cities of gold, but a land of enduring beauty and resilient people. The true treasure of the Southwest was its geography and its culture, which the Spanish were too blind, too greedy to see. If the disastrous search for the 7 cities of gold fascinated you, please like this video and share it with your fellow history and treasure hunters. And for more thrilling journeys into the world's most incredible lost treasures and unsolved enigmas, make sure you are subscribed to Adventure Hidden. Until our next expedition, stay skeptical and keep searching for the truth.